luncheon is sponsored by the Washington State Potato Commission. We're really pleased that the Potato Commission jumped on board for this event, and we've enjoyed this month-long partnership as well. I'd like to invite their Executive Director, Chris Voigt, to join me on stage to say a few words about the Washington State Potato Commission. And I'd also like to ask their commissioners and all of their staff that's joined them to please stand. We'll recognize you real quick. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, everyone. It's great to be here. Real quick, the folks that just stood up, I want to introduce Randy Mullen, who was a past chairman of the commission, current vice president of the National Potato Council. Next to him is Tracy Mullen. She's executive director of the Washington Potato and Onion Association. And then we have Mary Shirkey, who is in charge of Shirkey Farms, takes care of her husband, Ted, who's one of my commissioners. Frank Martinez will likely be our chairman next year of the Potato Commission. Ted Shirkey, the current Potato Commission chairman. Seated next to him is Potato Royalty Ed Schneider, the immediate past president of the National Potato Council, and Cully Easterday sitting next to him, current commissioner and past chair of the Potato Commission. It's great to be here. I know a lot of you I run across, especially the public figures, the elected figures. I appreciate all the work that you do for us in Olympia and in our local governments, as well as in Washington, D.C. Trade is huge to the Potato Commission. A little bit of trivia for you. Approximately what % of the potato crop actually leaves Washington State? I've got a nice shirt here for you. If you can come close to it, just start yelling out some answers. What % of the potato crop in Washington State leaves the state? 70. I heard 70, I heard 30, I heard 90. 95. Who said 95? Okay, any others? We're getting closer. 99. That's a little too much, but it's actually at 98% of our crop. Randy, can I have you deliver that shirt out there? 98% of our crop actually leaves the state. What percent of that 98% goes to different countries? Yell it out. Back. What percent goes to different countries, or what percent of our crop goes to different countries? Any idea? 45%? 75? 65? It's roughly about 50%. So right here, Randy, one more. Sorry, you're not going to get your salad in, are you? Gentleman in the suit right there. About 50% of our crop actually leaves the state. So we're very, very trade dependent. So it's actually interesting that Bill Bryant, who's your speaker this afternoon for the luncheon, we actually hired Bill many, many years ago as the Washington Potato Commission. I mean, not that many years ago. It's not like he's ancient, you know. But we worked with Bill a while ago, and actually we had such a great relationship when we had so many successes with him that the national potato industry actually hired him to work on their behalf. So we should have got a finder's fee, I think, Bill, for finding you and suggesting you for the national effort. But it's our privilege to be here today. We're grateful that the Tri-Cities Chamber, the regional chamber, has taken this on. Trade is so critical to the Columbia Basin, and particularly to the Tri-Cities, with so much food processing going on, so much of our crop leaves the state. So thank you so much for taking up this issue, and it's our privilege to be sponsoring today's luncheon. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Potato royalty. I kind of like the sounds of that. We really appreciate your partnership, and we appreciate you bringing such a nice large group with you here today. Before I turn the program over to our board chair, I'd like to draw your attention to a table out in the hall in the back of the room where Colin Hastings, we've got information on Initiative 1053. Last week, our board of directors voted to endorse this initiative, which will reinstate the 2/3 majority vote to raise taxes. And we hope you'll all take an opportunity to visit with Colin or study the initiative and find out how you can help to make this initiative pass. We'd appreciate your help with that. Now I'd like to turn the program over to our Board of Directors Chair, Bill Shibley, who will take us through the rest of the program today. Bill? Gonna jump the stage?
Sure, I'll just come up this way.
Okay.
Thanks, Lori. Great to see such a good crowd here today for a topic that's obviously near and dear to my heart, as both, actually near and dear to both my heart and my wallet, as my job is heavily dependent upon international trade. As Chris pointed out, any of us working in agriculture really rely upon international trade for a good portion of the sales dollars. I'd like to thank a few people. First off, I think it's appropriate that we have this at the Trade, Recreation, and Agricultural Center track here, and I'd like to thank Troy Woody and his staff for putting on another wonderful meal for us. Thank you, Troy. He must be out working away right now. Also like to thank Colin Hastings, our Chamber Vice President and Legislative Director, because Colin was really the focus and the impetus, and he got us fired up and got me thinking about this subject as well. So thank you very much, Colin, for your work on that. Today's presentation is being taped by Charter Communications. Thank you, Charter Communications, for doing that. And I'd also like to thank this month's sponsor, this month's membership meeting sponsor once again, the Washington State Potato Commission. I would say I'm a little disappointed that Apollo isn't here today. As you can see, he made the paper cutout. For those of you that don't know, Apollo is the Washington State Potato Commission's spokesman. And I mean, talk about a phenomenal choice as a spokesman for Washington State potatoes. Great representative of the state and loves his Washington State potatoes. Good job on catching Apollo and having him as the spokesman. With that, we'll move on to new member introduction. Camille, it's now my pleasure to introduce our sales director, Camille Robinson, who will introduce and present membership plaques to the Chamber's newest members.
You want to stand on there? Today, it's my pleasure to introduce our new members to the Chamber. As I read your names, please come forward to be recognized, and please stand at the front until all names have been read. Renee Quigley with Wendy and Friends. Deborah Cooper with Cincy. Dan King with Mr. Reuter. Jesse Feynman with Alliance Restoration. Bob Kelly with the Williams Agency. Eric Melling with MetLife. Chris Voigt with the Washington Potato Commission. Stermek Basilios with Vienna International. Steve Williams with Skyline Inland Northwest. Please join me in welcoming these new members to the Chamber. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Great to see a good crop of new members to the Chamber. Today's program, Trade and Our International Competitiveness, focuses on the importance of international trade to our state's economy and addresses some of the challenges confronting our competitiveness. Our speaker, Commissioner Bill Bryant, was elected to represent King County as the Port of Seattle Commissioner in the fall of 2007. After only 1 year on the commission, in 2009, he was elected president of the commission by his peers and was re-elected president in January 2010. Congratulations, Bill. Commissioner Bill Bryant was born in Morton, grew up in the Olympic Peninsula and in Olympia. After attending Capitol High, he studied trade and diplomacy at Georgetown University. He put his training to work immediately as the director of Washington Governor John Spellman's Trade Council. He then lived in Yakima for 7 years, traveling around the world, working to eliminate unfair foreign trade barriers and open new markets for Washington's fruit growers. In 1992, Bryant moved to Seattle and founded Bryant & Christie Incorporated, a company that works to eliminate foreign trade barriers, develops new international markets, and builds customized internet databases of international technical standards and research and reporting products.